So it's a new year, 2020, and you know what that means. Brand new emojis. So if you're not familiar with, this video that I did last year over the Emojis 2019, it's time to go over Emojis 2020. There are brand new emojis, guys, and there are some that are, as usual, already making headlines, and some that actually have, semi-interesting stories behind them. So let's get to it. Let's go through the emojis of 2020. Now, the list is always pretty big. It's like 113, I think, is how many this is. And a lot of times it's just different color variations, different genders. Now we're doing cross genders, stuff like that. But overall, I think these emojis are pretty straightforward for the most part. But let's break them down, shall we? So, of course, starting off the list in the corner, we have emoji with the teardrop. Smiling face, the tear. And I guess I'm kind of confused about this one. I mean, I guess I could be, happy, sad, happy, sad. Or I guess it could be interpreted as, it's not necessarily like a tattoo teardrop, so I guess we don't have to worry about convict with, teardrop to designate that they've murdered somebody. Moving on to the next one, we've got, looks like disguise face. The next one on there is one of the ones that's been making the headlines, if you haven't seen on Twitter or Facebook or just in general news. It's the pinched fingers emoji. Now, I think what this was trying to do was, I could take it a couple ways, actually. I thought this could be something like, they reference like an Italian, like how Italians talk like this, and it's an offer that you can't refuse. That's my Godfather impression. Nonetheless, I could also see it, like that guy that did like the little like salt thing where he threw it in the, you know what I'm talking about. As usual, there are people out there on the web that are taking that emoji and they're making it derogatory. We won't have to go there on this episode, but you probably know what I'm talking about. Yeah, let's not do that, guys. These emojis, if they want to make inappropriate derogatory emojis, then make those emojis, but don't try to interpret these other things like that. Facebook and some platforms are already banning, the peach and the eggplant because we can't use them in the right way. And I am part of those people. There was a Twitter post, oh my gosh, a couple weeks ago that Vermont was going to start allowing emojis on their license plates. And so I decided to go ahead and throw my 2 cents in there about one for a license plate. And I thought it was pretty clever. Anyways, moving on, we have the ninja. Because who doesn't want to be a ninja? Or stealth, or, any other way you could use the emoji. And then, this one I can personally relate to because I have a baby daughter. Parents feeding their kids. They're feeding their babies. We got older people with Santa hat on. We've got we got a groom, a female groom, and then we have a bride and a male bride. This has to do with the LGBTQ community, and that's perfectly fine. Everybody's equally represented there, gender and race, so kudos to that. So we've got boba tea. Not personally a fan, but I've got a couple friends that would love some boba tea. Now this one I can get on board with right here. Tamales. Who does not love tamales? Just thinking about it already makes me want some. Bell peppers. Nah. Now this one I was kind of confused and I had to look it up because I was like, let's see, that kind of throws me off. The little, I guess it's like a pot, obviously, with a stick coming out of it, but the little plus sign confused me, like the Red Cross. I don't know, aid? I don't know, we could get medication in there or something or what. But I looked it up and it's fondue, because that's plainly obvious. And if I don't personally eat fondue, so maybe that's why I'm not privy to how it's supposed to look and how it's symbolized. So by all means, have at it in the comments below to let me know that I am just ignorant when it comes to fondue. We're going to keep in kind of like right below that before we go over to the animal side. But we got blueberries. This other one was kind of confusing for me too. I had to look it up. It's flatbread. So I can find that useful for when I ask friends or my wife to go to Subway for me and then want to put an order. I'm like, what kind of bread do you want? I want flatbread. And then I also want olives. See where I'm getting at with this? You can just pretty much order your whole Subway thing in emojis. I love it. All right, let's move over to the animals. We got polar bear. That would have been useful during the Christmas time because of the Coca-Cola polar bears. You had a Coke and a polar bear. We got a seal, black cat. Gonna be perfect for all those Halloween fans out there. Mammoth, beaver, another one that could probably be used inappropriately. Buffalo, and dodo. My wife is gonna hate this one, but cockroach. I mean, I guess you could say my house has roaches. So I guess you could say that, because no one's gonna say my house has beetles, which is the next one. I hope you don't have worms. I guess you could say my dog has worms. You got flies. That's obviously one you could use. I don't know about hut. I don't know about anybody's gonna be using a hut or a log or a rock. And I'm really surprised that they have a tombstone on here. I mean, how morbid. Like, I guess you could say on my tombstone I want this written, but yeah, kind of morbid. And then we have, looks like a tree or bush you'd find like in a doctor's office or something. Let's see, what's the next one? Feather. Oh, sorry, potted plant was the other one. Not tree or bush or whatever I said it was. Let's see, roller skate, flip flop. Oh, all the Fortnite fans out there, there you go. There's pinata. There's nesting doll. There's accordion. Now, that one's not a bongo. I want to get the appropriate term. It's long drum. Mirror. Magic wand. Coin. Looks like teapot. I don't know. It looks like friendship or embrace to me. It is people hugging. Obviously, army helmet. Boomerang. Toothbrush. Truck. Bucket. Needle and thread. Mousetrap. I had to look what that one was too. Sign, I thought, but it's placard. That's the appropriate term for it. The placard emoji. I guess you could probably use that one for like I'm going on strike. I don't know. Are you gonna protest? Are you gonna take any signs to the concert? I don't know, something like that. Then we got some pretty obvious ones. We got tools for all you people that are handy with hardware. We got ladder, screwdriver, saw, crane hook, plunger. That one I'll probably use a lot. I have some folks that stop at the toilet, so that one's gonna be an appropriate one. Oh, the knot, like tie the knot. Heart, lungs, and I found out that these were actually suggested by a doctor, you know, which I find kind of interesting and cool. I think it'd be great if people in certain professions that think that they can actually contribute appropriate emojis. I think I would all for that. Emojis are basically shorthand, so I mean, if you really think about it, you're trying to talk in a way that still conveys the message, you know, just with images. So I think it's cool that there are people out there that are, you know, really trying to use the language effectively. That one's kind of confusing. I don't know if I would have, and I think they could come with a different one for elevator. Now the last two are transgender, so that's a transgender symbol and a transgender flag. You know, compared to the ones I did last year, this year has quite a bit more useful emojis. I'm not saying not, I mean, they're all useful, but I think there's some more in here that people probably use in their everyday lives. I remember last time it was, you know, there was a lot of emojis that represented the disabled community, you know, like people in wheelchairs, you know, people with handicap. So there was all of those. And those are your 2020 emojis. In the comments below, let me know which ones you liked, which ones you didn't like. I guess if you want to, in the comments below, let me know which ones you can misinterpret into derogatory ones. I guess you can do that. By all means, let me know which ones you think should be suggested for next year. It's never too early to start planning for 2021, because I know there'll be some interesting emojis coming out next year as well. Please subscribe to the channel. I'm on my road to 1,000 subscribers, so if you subscribe, that'd really help me out, and I would love you forever. Give this video a like, and I'll see you next time on the MashUp.